Hello everyone, I am Dinesh Gourineni. I am a .NET full stack developer working in Coding Tutor. In this video, I am going to implement complete CRUD operation in entire architecture using ASP.NET Core. So instead of writing everything in a single project, we will use the multiple layers like application layer, API layer, infrastructure layer, and domain layer. Each layer has its own responsibility. So it will be so with this we can easy to test our application and maintain, and we can reusable. So let me walk through the code. So in this application, we are going to use backend like ASP.NET Core Web API and ORM entity framework and database SQL Server. So here we are using IDE like Visual Studio. So I am opening the Visual Studio. So to implement the entire architecture, I am clicking on create new project. Here I need to select one blank solution. The blank solution is a like as a container. In this we can write all the project, multiple project. It will be refers to the multiple layers. So we can use the multiple layers in different projects. So I have selected a blank solution and I am clicking on next. Here I am going to give the solution name like inventory. Using CRUD. Next time I'm clicking on the create. So in solution explorer you can see the solution name as inventory using CRUD. So here I am right clicking on this and I am adding one project, add new project. Here I am to select ASP.NET Core Web API. The purpose of this ASP.NET Core Web API is it is the entry point of the application. It will handling all the HTTP request and response. So it is the entry point of our applications. Here I am going to give the name as project name as inventory.api. I'm clicking on next. So and create. So I already told that we are going to use multiple layers. API is the one of the layer, and I'm also going to use another layer, add new project. Here now I'm going to select class library. The class library will contain only C# code. It will not contain any API calls. It only contain the C# code. Here I am going to give the class project name as inventory dot application. So in this application we are going to create multiple folders. So one of the folder is DTOs. So DTO is data transfer object. So main purpose of DTO is whenever user sends some request and it has to go to the database, we have to store that data in the database. Instead of selecting all the fields which are required in the database, we will use DTO. So DTO means like suppose we have to send 5 fields, but database required 10 fields. We want to send only 5 fields. In that case, we will use DTO. So whatever the required fields we have to take from the user, we can take using DTOs. DTOs contain multiple classes. So while creating, we will get to know that. And another folder as service. And I'm creating another folder like interface. This folder will contain the interfaces. So interface will contain only method definitions like method declarations. So in this I am going to create another folder as I inventory service. So actually this is not needed, don't worry. Again I am going to create another project, new project, and class library. It is inventory dot domain. This is a one more layer. This layer will contain only business entities and rules. I'm going to create another layer. I'm selecting class library, inventory dot infrastructure. So inventory dot infrastructure, this layer will contain the code related to database. It will be communicate with the database. So this is, I'm deleting, this is automatically created by the system, so this is not needed now. So domain layer contain only business entities. Application layer, in this application layer we will write the business logics. Already I told that API layer will contain, it will handle the HTTP request and response. It is the entry point of the application. So in the domain layer I am going to create one folder called entities. So here I am going to create one class called product. So I create a class name xProduct. I'm changing that access modifier as public. So if we declare class as public, we can access anywhere. So in this I am going to create the properties public int id public string name public int quantity public decimal price. So for example, a product contain like id 1 2 3 names, like anything product name like laptop, mouse, and quantity is the how much that quantity available, and price, the price of the each product. So these are the properties we are declaring in this class. So what is get is to get the value, set is to assign the value. So this is the business entity of the this layer and this application. And next I am going to create in this inventory application layer, in the DTO layer I am creating the DTO classes. So for example, product response DTO, public. So what is the purpose of this product response DTO? So whenever we're getting the data from the database, instead of storing all the details, we will show the only required fields to the user. So now presently we are going to use all the fields, but sometimes we will not send every fields. So Visual Studio automatically provide this, like a compiler will provide this code automatically, so we are using. So it is showing like non-nullable property. It is not an error, it is a warning. So we can avoid this by using string.empty. So string.empty means if you don't provide, it will take empty, so it will not accept any null values. So another class we are going to create product create DTO. So while creating the product, we are not going to pass the ID. So ID will be automatically created by the database. So here I am going to write public string name get set. So here I am going to take public string name, public int quantity, public decimal price. So I am not taking the ID before, but in that product response DTO I took the ID, but for creating it is not required, so I avoided that one. And I am going to create one more class, product update DTO. So in this class also we are using same properties as product create DTO. So I am copy pasting here. Here also we now need to pass ID, but we will pass ID through the endpoint. We will update this product based on the ID. In this application layer, I am going to add one more folder, mapping. So in this folder I am going to create one more class, product or product profile. So what is the purpose of this class? So we are going to use this class to mapping the objects like entity with DTOs. So we have to map these DTOs. So how the system will know this DTO belongs to these entities. To map that one, we are going to use this class. This product profile will be inherited from the profile. So actually this profile will come from the automapper. So we have to install the package automapper in this application layer. So here I am going to click the manage nugget packages. I am going to install automapper packages. So here I am going to use automapper extension Microsoft Dependency Injection. So it is deprecated, so we need to use below one. So I am installing this one. Installation successful completed. I am again installing automapper. So here we use the version 12.0.0, so we need to use same version. If you use different version, the system will be not accept, so we will get some errors. To avoid this, we have to use the same versions. So installation is completed. So now if you move the cursor here, it will automatically suggest using automapper. This profile is the base class for this automapper class. In this we are going to create one constructor, public product profile. Here we are going to map what we want, create map. Here we have to, so while getting the data from the, when we have to show data from the database to the user, so we have to map that real entity like product to the product response DTO. So here automatically it is suggesting like source and destination. Source means what is the main, and what is destination means what you need to send. So here we are going to use source as product and destination as product response DTO. So here we are going to write the rules in this class. So here we are getting one error, that type or namespace the product could not be found. Are you missing a using directory or assembly? So we are need to refer this product, so we have to include the namespace. But how to we use that namespace? Here our DTOs is present in the application layer, but product entity is present in the domain layer. So there is a no connection. So we have to make the project reference. So application layer is using the domain layer. So we have to add the project reference. For that, we have to right click on this layer and add project reference. It will show the what project you have to refer. Now we have to refer the domain because the main entity is present in the domain layer. So I am clicking on OK. So once you move the cursor above here, and you will get the suggestion. So we are clicking that we can use automatically. So we are using inventory.domain.entities. Similarly, we need to map other rules. Product create DTO comma product. So here, while creating, first we are taking the details from the user. For this, we are using product create DTO, and we have to send that. We have to convert this product create DTO to product, and we have to send to database. For this, we are using this rule. Then create map product update DTO comma product. So similarly, like create for updating also, we are taking the the details we are taking from user, and we have to map the details to the real entities. So database will accept only real entities. It will not accept DTOs. So this class is now completed. We are write the roles for every DTOs and entities. This is object mapping. Now we are going to create an interface. So here I am going to create one interface like a iProduct service. So purpose of this interface is to actually this application layer will be communicate with the infrastructure layer like repository layer. In the application layer we will write the services, and in infrastructure we will write the repository layers like so this service will communicating with the repositories. This application will not directly communicate with the database. It will only write the business logic. So to communicate with the database, first we have to communicate application layer with the infrastructure layer. So here I am going to write some method declarations task enumerable like product response DTO get all products. Another one is task product response DTO get product by ID. So we have to pass here parameter like int ID. So based on that we will get the ID we will get the particular product. And one more thing, task create product sync product create DTO we can change the name as async. And also task update product update DTO. So here we are declaring all the CRUD operations. In interface we are not implementing anything. We only declare the method definitions. The implementation will be done by its respective class, the class which is inheriting this iProduct service. In that class we have to implement all these method declarations. and task delete product. So for updating we need the id, so I am passing the id here. And in infrastructure layer we need product repository. I am going to create one folder, interface. In this interface I am going to add folder. In this interface folder I am going to add a interface like product repository public. Here I am writing all the CRUD operation which will going to perform, which will be going to contact with the database. INU of product. Get all async. So here I am getting the one error. Same, the namespace is not declared. So we need to refer this product, but that product is entities are available in this domain layer. So we need to access that domain layer. So right click in this entry layer and add the project reference. So I am selecting this domain. So now the error will be removed. Here we are wasting one. Task gateway id async. Here we have to pass enter id. Next, task add async product. So here we are passing the real entities, business entities. Void update product and product. Void delete product. So first we need to implement the interface services, product service we have to implement. For that I am creating the one class in the application layer. So product service public. So implemented and in product services we have to inherit. So product service. So the Visual Studio we have some of the advantage. When we click here it will pop up, intelligent will give the support, so we can reuse that. It will be reduce our development time, so I am using like that. Implement interface. When we click on interface we will get the all the errors will be resolved, so there is no error. Now we need to implement each method definition which is defined in the interface. So here I am going first start with the get all products. So public task. So we are going to perform asynchronous operation. So for that we have to use async and await keywords. Before that we need to create one constructor, public product service. The name of the class and constructor name must be same. So in this product service I am going to use iProduct repository. So when we are passing that variable in the constructor, it will act as a constructor dependency injection. Here I am passing the iProduct repository. Repo. I'm giving the variable name as repo. So with this, the service layer will be communicating with the repository layer. Then repository layer will communicate with the database. So first we are communicating the service layer with the repository layer. For that we are using the variable name in the constructor level. So but we are getting some error namespace. So we need to add that project reference. So present we are in application layer, but that product repository will be present in the infrastructure layer. So we have to add the project reference. Add project reference. So we need to click the infrastructure. So now we can use the whatever the classes is there in the infrastructure, we can use in this application layer. When we move the cursor, it will show the pop-up. So I am using the namespace. So here I am going to write the one private variable, private read only, iProduct repository underscore repository. So with this variable we can access the repository methods. So we have to assign the value to that private variable which are coming from the constructor. So in service also we have to map, like whatever the request is coming from the user, we have to map the DTOs to the entities. For that we have to use imapper. Here I am going to create one private variable, imapper underscore mapper. So I am assigning a value to the underscore mapper, that private variable inside the constructor. So this imapper will write the roles and it will be map the objects. So from DTOs to entities and entity to DTOs. So in get all products, I am calling that a repository layer where we are already calling the get all asyncs. Dot get all async, but this is asynchronous, so we have to use await keyword. So it will retaining the list of products. So I am declaring the variable as products, where products. But what are the products we are getting, we have to pass to the user by, we no need to pass that every like real entities to the user. We need to convert the real entities to the DTOs, then the DTO will be passed to the user. For that we have to use return underscore mapper dot map. So when we are placing here intelligence support will be suggest you the destination. What is the destination? Destination is the our enumerable. Enumerable means a collection, and enumerable dot product response DTO of products. So here what happening, whatever we are getting that products, the real product like products entities from the database, we are converting that into the product response DTOs. So this will be going to the user. Get by product, get by ID. So we are declaring we are product, so it will store one product is called. We have to use async keyword because we are performing asynchronous operation. Wait underscore repo dot get by ID async of ID. Again we have to return, like convert the real entities to DTOs. So automapper will be mapping that from real entity to DTOs. in create we have to first we have to map that whatever the entities which are coming, like whatever the data which are coming from the user as a product create DTO. So the DTO we has to convert into real entities, then only that entity will be stored in the database. So that we have to map underscore mapper dot map. Here the destination is product, and we have to pass here DTO. This product is coming from inventory domain entities. Then we have to call await underscore repo dot add async. Here product equal to here we missed the product. After that we have to save this whatever we added, we have to save. For that we have to write one more method, task save change async. It will save in the database. So here we have, after creating we have to save, then only it will going to save in the database. Await underscore report dot save change async. So next we are going to perform update operation. So here also we have to map underscore mapper dot map of So while mapping, first we have to check that a product is available or not. For that we have to call report dot get by id async of id. So we have to use async keyword. Where product equal to, if it is, and if the product is not available we have to show some error. For that th throw new exception like a product not found. So what is this means, if the product is available it will give that product, if it is not available it will show the error product not found. Then underscore mapper dot map DT. Here we have to pass the source and destination. Here the source is, like source type is what we are going to do, we have to pass DTO to product. So we are updating that existing product. So this is the source and this is the whatever existing one. After that we have to save wait underscore report a save change async. While deleting we have to, here we have to use async keyword. Where product is equal to Wait, report dot gateway id of id. If it is present, it will show that product, otherwise it will show the exception. Then we have to call a report dot delete of product. We are deleting that the product is up there, and then we have to save the database, then only it will delete from the database level. So now service layer implementation is completed. Now we have to implement the interface iProduct repository. So to implement the iProduct repository, first we have to connect the database. For that, I am creating one folder, data. In this folder, I am going to create one class, app db context. So to communicate with database, first we need to install some packages. We are going to use the database SQL server. For that, we have to use some nugget packages. These are SQL server. So I am going to install this package. So we are using Visual Studio 8 version. So I am going to install the related version only. So we can't get any errors if you use the same version. Then I am going to install one more package tool. So this package will be used for communication with that Mac. This package is used for run the migration commands. And also need to install the entity framework package. So we are going to use entity framework as a ORM. So in here I am going to init from db context. So it is used to perform db database related operation we are writing here in this class. So I am creating one constructor, public app db context. Here I am using to use db context options, and we have to pass our class name here, app db context and options. So we have to pass this to base class. And also I am going to write, we are using product products. So this product is when we run the migration, the table will be named as the product. So here we are going to use on model creating. So here model builder dot entity of product takes arrow entities that has key, so it will create, like it will consider as a primary key, and it will generate automatically identity columns with this property. Then one more property, entity dot property of e arrow e dot name that is required, means we need to pass this field mandatory, and has max length, means the maximum length of this string is 100, and entity dot property of e arrow e dot quantity that is required, means we need to pass this values, that is a mandatory. Entity entities dot property e arrow e dot price that is required, that has column type decimal 18,2. So to communicate with the database in the app setting.js, we have to write connection string. So here I am going to write the connection string default, like default connection server database. So we are going to use database name as CRUD DB. I am going to use a database name as CRUD DB trusted and trust. So here we need to pass the database name. So I am opening my database. So you can see my server name here. So I am copying this one. Meanwhile, we will connect to database. I connect to my database. So here we don't have CRUDDB, the database name with CRUDDB. Here I am taking the name as CRUDDB, and the server name we already took this one. This is my database server name. So here we completed our database connection in the app settings. That's JSON. So now we have to go to program.cs. So in program.cs, first I need to register automapper. Add automapper. Type of, we take the class name as that mapping product profile. File. So here the error is coming because of we didn't referring this mapping profile which is in the application layer, but we have to add the project reference for that. So I am adding the project reference that is available in the application layer, and also we have to map to the infrastructure because we are using database, so we have to map these both layers. Now that error will be gone. Type of product file. So we register the automapper in the program.cs file, then builder.services that add db context. And here we have to pass our context name, app db context, options, option dot use SQL server. So here we the Visual Studio compiler will be automatically show the intelligence support it will provide. So I am clicking on use SQL server. Here builder dot configuration dot get connection string. So our connection string which are we used in app setting.json is default connection. So I am copying and I am pasting here. So and also we have to register like dependencies. So here we are using high product services and product services. So we need to map. So for that builder dot services dot add scope dot here high product service product service. So it will automatically map that what are the product service, high product service, which is mapping to the product service by these configurations. Now I am going to implement a repository. So I am creating one more folder, repository. In this I am implementing the iProduct repository interface. So I am clicking right click on this, add class product repository. So in this class I am inheriting the iProduct repository. So whenever facing intelligent, always give the suggestion. So I am implementing the interface. Before this it is showing 6 errors. When I click here, that all errors will be gone. So need to implement this iProduct repository. For that, first I need to create constructor public product repository. So here we are passing the db context variable app db context. I am creating one private variable, private read only, app db context underscore context. So this db context will communicate with the database. So communicate with the database, first we need to run the migration so that that database and the entity, whatever we create entity, that table will be created in the database level. Then only we will we use that db context underscore context variable. So further I am opening the tools. Here we can go to the package manager console. So before this we have to install one more package in the API layer. Manage nugget packages. So here we have to create, install one more package, design Microsoft Entity Framework Core design. So here we have to select the project. So we are communicate database in the infrastructure layer. So we have to select that project. So I select the project name. So we have to write migration command, add migration. So it will add the migration file, initial. I give one random name, initial. So I took that name as wrong, so I need to take add migration. Migration name is initial. So it will generate migration file. Unable to create db context, type data exception, unable to resolve service, context options, enter infrastructure. So it is showing error occur while accessing the Microsoft extension hosting service service provider. Some services are not able to be constructed. So we have to write that repository, we have to write the service scope service. Similarly, like however we write for the product service, we have to write for similar for a product repository and product repository. So this error is showing that we didn't integrated that iProduct repository to product repository. For that I added this line. Now we can see that one file is created name with the name initial. So you can see that file here also. This folder automatically created. So this is the initial commit, whatever we are seeing, this is the same file. Now when you go into the database, you will not see that database name. So I am refreshing the database. So you didn't saw that CRUD DB. When you run the update database, then only you will able to see that. So these are presently in local. Now it is going to the SQL Server database. So I am refreshing. So I am refreshing the database now. Now you can able to see the CRUD DB when I opening this one tables. You can see the table name as products. So where from this table is, the name is taken from DB context file. So in app DB context, we already defined the name as products. So that same name will be created in that database. Now we are going to product repository. So here, now we will go to get our products. Here I am calling underscore context. So it is a asynchronous operation. So whenever we use the task, we have to use async keyword. Sync await underscore context dot products dot to list async. So to list async will be going to provide the list of the products. So we have to return. So it is showing that not all code path return a values. So we have to use the return keyword return. So that now the error will be resolved. Get by id async. So this is also, it is using task. So we have to use async keyword. Here await underscore context dot products dot find async id. So return. So it is showing product not null here. So this is the not an error, it's warning. So we can use a question mark here. If we are using in repository, product repository, so same way we have to use in iProduct repository because we are implementing the iProduct repository. So we are here also we have to mention the question mark, means nullable operator this is. So now the error is warning is resolved. While creating, means add the product, we have to call async get underscore context dot products dot add async of product. So it automatically add that product, deleting the product. So it is not using the task, we have to simply write context dot products dot remove product. For updating also we need to write underscore context dot products dot update of product. So now we implemented the product repository also as well. So now we have to write the controller. By default it is giving the dummy controller, so I am deleting that one, it is not required for us. Here also now I am creating the one controller as product controller. Here I am clicking controller, we have to select here API. I am going to use empty controller. Product controller.cs. So whenever you are using APIs, you have to must see this controller base. That all the API controls will be comes from the controller base class. Now I am creating one constructor, public underscore products product controller. Here I am passing the iProduct service. So controller will handle only request and response. It will not write any business logic and business rules. The controller will be communicated within the service layer. So that's why I pass the parameter product service in the constructor. It will act as a constructor dependency injection. I need to create one private variable, private read only iProduct service services. Service is called service. Here I am using the attribute http get to get the all the products. Public sync task I action result. It will be the return type of this method. It will accept every return. Get all products. Here I am calling the service layer service that get all products, and we have to store that value. So we are getting the list of products. So we are products equal to underscore service the get all products, and we have to send that data. So return of products. So this is asynchronous operation. So we have to use await keyword, await. Now http get. So here I am going to perform product by id. So I am passing here id. Public sync task I action result get product by id. Here I am passing the id. So we are product is equal to await underscore service that get product by id. Get product by id with return value. So we have to return this return okay of product. So I am going to write the create method. For that we have to use http post method. Sorry, http post attribute. Public sync task I action yes result create product product oh. the product DTO is coming from domain layer, so application layer. So I think we already added project reference. Product create DTO. Here we have to use await keyword, await underscore service that create product of DTO. We are passing the DTO, and then we have to return some message, return okay, product created successfully. So whenever we create product, it will show the message product created successfully. Then I am going to use the HTTP, like updating the product based on the ID. HTTP put no, I'm writing public async task. Here I am using the method name as update product. Need to pass ID comma product update DTO. So here we have to call await underscore service update product of we need to pass ID comma DTO, because in service layer, if you see the service layer, for updating we are passing two values, ID and DTOs. So the same we have to do here also. After that we have to return message, return okay, product updated successfully. Then I am performing the delete operation. Public async task action delete product of int ID. So here I am using await keyword because we use the async keyword. Service dot delete product of ID, return okay, product deleted successfully. So now controller is completed. So now I am running the application. We'll see the how it is work. It will open the Swagger. So first I am opening the database. So I am using CRUD DB here. select tar from products. Now you are seeing nothing is there in this DB. Now I am passing the values. Name is laptop, quantity is 1, price is 60,000. Now I am executing, so it has to show message success. So here we are getting one error, not implemented. So in repository it is showing one method is not implemented. So I am going to code again. In product repository is save change async is not implemented. Without this the data will be not saved. So we have to write return await. So we need to first take async keyword here, async await underscore context dot save change async. This is the default method which is provided by entity framework core. Not written out. Okay. Now I am again running the application. Laptop, quantity 1, price 60,000. Now it's showing product created successfully. Now we will check in database. I am executing again. So you can see ID 1, laptop, and quantity and price. So this ID is automatically created by database. So I am executing the product. It is the get all products. So how many products it will there? It will be, will get this one. Now I am adding another product, pen, 10, 100. You can see product created successfully. I am executing again. You will see the second record also. Now I am executing the get all products. Now you can see the both records. So here now I am going to execute the get by ID. I am passing this number 2. When you update this, execute this one, you will get that particular record. Now I am going to update the record 1. So that is a laptop, quantity 2, and I'm updating 1,40,000. Executed. We'll see product updated successfully. I am going to execute again this query. You can see the quantity 2 and 14,000, and I want to delete one record, that is last record. So here I am passing the ID 2. I am executing this. The product deleted successfully. Again I am executing this query. Now you can see the second record deleted successfully. If you execute get all products, you will get only one record. So this is about CRUD operation we implemented in our application using entire architecture. Each layer has different responsibilities. So API layer will be only contain HTTP request and response. It will be provide the response, and it will communicate with the application layer, and application layer will contain the business logic, and it will having the services and DTOs, and we also implement a mapping in the application layer. This application layer will be communicating with the domain and infrastructure layers. This domain layer will contain the business entities. This is the real entities which are going to we will get in the database. In infrastructure will be connected with the database, and it will be perform all the database related operation in the infrastructure layer. So also we created a DB contest. So this is the about the CRUD operation we did we completed in this video. Thank you everyone.